Imagine seeing Taylor Swift representing the United States, Ed Sheeran representing the United Kingdom, BTS representing South Korea, Shakira representing Colombia, Bad Bunny representing Puerto Rico. And then suddenly, right there among them, you see one name representing the Philippines, SB19. For many Filipinos and millions of ATIN around the world, this isn't just another list. It is another sign that SB19 is entering a completely different level of global recognition. And what's especially interesting is the company they are keeping. Because when an international list places SB19 alongside artists who have become defining names for their countries, the conversation is no longer simply about whether P-pop can go global. The conversation becomes, how far has SB19 already gone? According to the screenshots shared by Factual Index, SB19 has been named the Philippines' representative in its list of the biggest music artists from 30 countries in 2026. The list features artists selected based on a combination of factors including global popularity, commercial success, streaming, touring, awards, cultural impact, and worldwide recognition. And just look at the names surrounding SB19. The United States has Taylor Swift, South Korea has BTS, Japan has YOASOBI, India has Arijit Singh, Australia has Sia, France has David Guetta, Italy has Måneskin, Spain has Rosalía, Brazil has Anitta, Mexico has Peso Pluma, Colombia has Shakira, Puerto Rico has Bad Bunny, South Africa has Tyla, and representing the Philippines is SB19. Now let's pause for a moment and understand why this matters. Because this isn't simply about being mentioned next to famous artists. The bigger story is what SB19 represents. When an artist becomes associated with a country on an international platform, that artist becomes part of the way the world sees that country's music. Taylor Swift represents an enormous part of America's modern pop culture. BTS has become one of the strongest global symbols of South Korea's music industry. Shakira is inseparable from Colombia's international musical identity. Bad Bunny has helped push Puerto Rican and Latin music to unprecedented levels of global visibility. And now in this particular Factual Index list, SB19 is being positioned as the Philippines' representative. That is a powerful statement about P-pop. For years, Filipino music fans have talked about the potential of Philippine artists breaking beyond the country's borders. The Philippines has always had an enormous music-loving population, incredibly talented performers, powerful vocalists, songwriters, dancers, and musicians. But global recognition is a different challenge. It requires more than talent. It requires consistency. It requires international audiences to discover the music, connect with the artists, stream the songs, attend concerts, share performances, and keep talking about them. And SB19 has spent years building exactly that kind of momentum. What makes this moment particularly interesting is that SB19 didn't suddenly appear on the international radar overnight. Their journey has been gradual, from performing for relatively small audiences to becoming one of the most recognizable names in P-pop. Their growth has been built through persistence, experimentation, and a willingness to take risks. And perhaps the most important part is that SB19's rise has happened while they have continued to emphasize their Filipino identity. They didn't have to erase where they came from to become more international. They carried it with them. Their music, performances, language, visuals, storytelling, and cultural references have repeatedly shown that being Filipino isn't something they need to hide in order to compete internationally. Instead, it can become part of the reason international audiences become curious about them. That is one of the most important lessons from the SB19 story. Globalization doesn't necessarily mean becoming less Filipino. Sometimes it means becoming more confidently Filipino on a bigger stage. And that is why this Factual Index recognition can feel so significant to ATIN. Think about the psychological difference between saying the Philippines has talented artists and seeing a Philippine artist actually placed on an international list beside some of the biggest names in the world. Those are two completely different things. The first is a belief, the second is visibility, and visibility creates opportunities. When international media, fans, brands, promoters, music platforms, and industry professionals repeatedly encounter the same artist, the perception begins to change. SB19 stops being viewed simply as a successful Filipino group and increasingly becomes viewed as an international act that happens to come from the Philippines. That distinction matters, and there is another fascinating detail here. The list is not saying that every artist has identical achievements or identical levels of global commercial power. Obviously, Taylor Swift, BTS, Shakira, Bad Bunny, and the other artists on this list have completely different careers, markets, histories, and measurements of success. The significance is that Factual Index has chosen one artist or act to represent each country in this particular selection. And for the Philippines, that name is SB19. That alone is worth paying attention to. Because when you look at the broader P-pop movement, SB19's success has consequences beyond the 5 members themselves. Every international appearance creates another opportunity for people who have never heard Filipino pop music to discover it. Every performance introduces Filipino artistry to another audience. Every viral clip can lead someone to another Filipino artist. Every international collaboration can create another bridge between the Philippines and the global music industry. In other words, SB19's global rise can help expand the map for P-pop, and ATIN have played a huge role in that process. Fan communities are no longer simply supporting artists by buying albums or attending concerts. In the digital era, fans are part of the distribution system. They stream, they share, they translate, they create edits. They introduce songs to friends. They organize projects. They defend their artists. They bring performances into international conversations. That creates something extremely valuable: sustained attention. And sustained attention is one of the hardest things for an artist to achieve in today's music industry. There are millions of songs released every year. Thousands of artists are competing for attention. Trends disappear almost as quickly as they appear. So when an act can maintain a passionate international fan base while continuing to expand its audience, that becomes a serious competitive advantage. And perhaps that's the real story behind this recognition. It isn't just that SB19 is on a list, it's that the world is increasingly being given reasons to put SB19 on lists in the first place. From P-pop conversations to international media coverage, overseas performances, global collaborations, streaming milestones, and growing recognition outside the Philippines, the group's trajectory has continued to move outward. And now in this particular 2026 list, the Philippines is represented by SB19. For ATIN, this is one of those moments where you can look back at the journey and realize just how much has changed. There was a time when the idea of a Filipino group being discussed in the same international conversations as the world's biggest music acts sounded almost impossible. Now seeing SB19's name alongside Taylor Swift, BTS, Shakira, Bad Bunny, Anitta, Tyla, YOASOBI, and other major artists doesn't feel like a fantasy. It is becoming part of the conversation. And maybe the most exciting question isn't where SB19 ranks on this particular list. The bigger question is what happens next, because recognition is not the finish line. It is fuel. Every international acknowledgement raises expectations. Every new audience creates another opportunity. Every new country that discovers SB19 potentially becomes another chapter in their story. And if the past few years have taught us anything, it's that SB19 isn't simply trying to prove that Filipino artists can enter the global music scene. They're helping redefine what a Filipino global artist can look like. 5 Filipino artists, 1 group, 1 enormous fan base, and a growing international footprint. So when you see that list and find Philippines, SB19, don't just see 5 letters after a flag. See what it represents. See the years of work. See the fans who never stop believing. See the Filipino identity being carried onto international stages. And most importantly, see the possibility that the world is finally starting to understand what ATIN have known for years. SB19 was never just a P-pop group trying to go global. They were building a global Filipino music story. And if this 2026 recognition is any indication, that story is far from over.